Today, I think it's a celebration of young people and recognition that young people have a big part to contribute and play in developing young talented footballers, because the kids we speak about today and we've seen here with us, a lot of them are working within community organisations or in charter standard clubs, working with young tots at 6, 7, 8 years old. And I think it'd be remiss of us as a governing body to neglect the development of these young coaches. They may well go into refereeing as well, or working as we've got further up the road, disability players. But it'd be remiss of us to neglect these young people and help support their development in whatever facet of football they want to go into. And so that's what we're doing today. Myself and Sarah from the County FA, we're obviously doing the coaching element of the day, looking at how the coaches with us work with young players in the environments that they see them in at the weekend or during the midweek sessions that they do the activities with. Sarah's put the second ball in and expected it to sort of flow quite nicely, but also accepting that it might not. We've titled our session Learning Football, because it is learning football. When kids come to football activities, they are learning to play the game of football. And what we try to do is stimulate the imagination of the young people we've got here with us today to think about the way we work with young players. So we've looked at learning styles, accepting that there are people learn differently within groups of players that we have. Also looking at some tools to help them adapt sessions to work with the young players. And so far the attitude and the reception from the kids has been fantastic, and the efforts both in the classroom and practically have been a big plus so far today.
When might you decide to dribble past this play instead of passing? Go on to that again. Excellent. Spot on there.
Do a theory session inside, which we explain to the students about the practical sessions we're going to do outside. We do a practical session then, so we move everybody outside. It's just basically looking to see if they understand what we've told them inside and see if they can see it in a practical session. So we do a session, what we'd expect them to do with 5 to 11 year olds. We break off in between and explain why we do certain things, so why we do demonstrations, why we show things on a tactics board, and why we have discussions about the session that we're doing really. I started coaching probably when I'm a little bit older than these guys here, so a couple of years older. So they've definitely got a few good years ahead of me in their learning. So by the time a couple 2 or 3 years time, then they should be on the right level to go out, work with clubs, work with schools, and deliver a positive and really up to date session.
It might be a case of if I receive it through one side, I've got to travel out one of the other 3 sides of the area. Or if I'm a struggler, I can receive the ball in there and I have 5 seconds where I'm not opposed. One strength of the FA over recent years with the Young Leadership Camp, and particularly West Riding FA, they've had a really good pool of young people come from their county leadership camp who've then gone on to the FA's national leadership camp, and actually a number of them have had opportunities to coach with the FA in Africa. And clearly for us as an organisation, again as a governing body of sport and an organisation that employs coaches, I think it's succession planning and talent ID, and not only the players but the coaches of the future as well. And as I said before, it may well be on the other pitch we have talent ID and potential referees of the future, because I think if we can do that and succession plan, then the health of the game will be pretty good going forward. Again, a very powerful learning tool is letting the group demonstrate to the group themselves. What makes a good coach? Open-mindedness, the ability to evolve, recognise different ways of doing things, recognise other people bring skills and qualities that you may see and adapt and use for yourself. And I think it's taking bits off other people, off other characters. I will learn from the kids here today. It may be something they say, something they do, or something they mention to each other that I pick up on. It's just that opportunity to never stop learning, because the old adage, the more you know, the less certain you are, definitely applies in football coaching. Because the more things you see and do, the more questions you actually raise if you've got an open mind about football coaching.
Just to get you warmed up, just shout 1 or 2 famous names from the world of male English football. I'll start you off. Wayne Rooney.
Ben Quinn.
Sorry?
David Beckham.
David Beckham will do nice. Anybody else?
Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, lovely. That'll do. We've got them all right. Rooney, Gerrard, Beckham. Here's the female equivalent. This lady has had a remarkable career. Not only for the Leeds club, now known as Leeds Carnegie, but also for England. She's done it all.
these young volunteers, I mean, how important is it their roles that they play in football?
Oh, I think it's massive. I think especially in women's football, volunteers are vital. Because there's not that much money involved. We need volunteers, and at Leeds, alone we've got coaches, we've got people sort of washing the kit, making the sandwiches, and just volunteering. And it's great that they can get involved in sport. Not just playing, they can get involved through volunteering and through leadership. And I think it's vitally important. And just being here today, seeing all the volunteers, and it's great that they seem to be really enjoying it and loving the day.
What's your daily routine in this international training?
The daily routine, we train every day, so we usually train in a morning with England. We now have regional based training, so we have, we'll do weight sessions, we'll do speed sessions, we'll do aerobic sessions, endurance and things like that, and that's spread out throughout the week. And then we train twice for Leeds, and we have a game on a Sunday. So we meet up with England probably once every month for a week. So yeah, it's pretty intense, the training. A lot of the girls do work as well, so they'll fit in part-time work around their football, which can be quite difficult. It's not like we're just full-time professionals, so it's good that we're now semi-pro, but we're still trying to go for that professional status.
What kind of goals did you have to set yourself, like when you was younger, for you to get to this point?
Do you know, I've always wanted to play for England from being 5 starting, and I didn't actually know there was an England women's team, so I just wanted to play for the men's team. But I always wanted to, be at the top in my football. And, I've always, at school, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a footballer. What else do you want to be? I want to be a footballer. And I was quite lucky that, like, my parents sort of encouraged me to continue my education. I did, obviously, my GCSEs, my A-levels and a sports science degree, but really all I wanted to do was play football. So yeah, that's just been my goal all the way through, and just to be as good as I possibly can at football. And I think you just, you got to listen to people, you listen to coaches, you listen to, teachers, you listen to, your manager, whoever, and that's how you reach the top. You're always learning. I'm 30 now, and I'm still learning in football.
What makes, in your opinion, a good, young leader?
I think, it's probably about being confident. It's about, I suppose, leading by example, if you like. You can look at it in football, you lead by example on the pitch. And I think these leaders are leading, and they're going to help the people that obviously they're taking, and showing them the right paths and the right routes. But yeah, I think being confident, I think that's the main thing. Confidence in their own ability, and communication is a massive part. And I think a lot of them here, I've seen quite a few, good communicators, if you like, and if they can take that into when they're going off into different things, then it'll help them in life in general.